And it was one of the better paying jobs there for, you know, um, a prison job. Um, but um, yeah, I was able to, man, from sun up to sundown, you know what I mean? From, uh, after movement opened and I had the cell all to myself, then they'd come back and then they'd leave for the day and stuff, my cellies and stuff. I mean, uh, yeah, I had nothing but time. And, so, I mean, um, I would study clear until from like 7 o'clock in the morning until about 11 p.m. or midnight, you know, 7 days a week. I was so engrossed. I was so engrossed with it. Um, I was so hungry. Um, and I was so dedicated. Um, a lot of people don't really have that true interest to put forth that type of dedication. And I'm not saying that you have to put in 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere from actually 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 10 years straight, to actually learn to work magic, because there's different levels and different types of magic. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that's what I did, you know. So that's when a lot of people read my short little bio and stuff that I've presented in past videos and stuff, they're like, wait a minute, man, this guy has a family or whatever, and he's out in society. No, you're absolutely right. And that's the reason why a lot of practitioners and stuff, they fail in their conditioning process, in their shadow working and stuff, because there's just so much distractions. They ain't got the time to invest into that. And the distortions, the everyday chaos, and keeps them, shelled in that negative lower vibrations. The frustrations at work, the frustrations, going to and from work, the travel on the streets, and I mean, we're always being bombarded and what have you stuff, with negativity one way or another. And you would think it was, the horror stories that you hear about prisons, and some prisons are like that, but at that time, Utah State Prison wasn't like that. A little bit, but not nowhere near like some other ones are. Um, but So, that's where I was able to put in all that dedication stuff, is during my incarceration. And I've purchased, over 180 books, and I've read more than that, not just on magic and Wicca and paganism and different forms of magical, paths and practices and stuff like that, but archaeology, um, stuff like that. And uh, uh, I just, um, history on different societies and things, and, the myths and of different cultures and traditions. And I mean, I covered, a vast amount of knowledge and information and stuff and what have you. And it blows me away. But like I said, my dedication was there, I was being driven by this divine energy, and this is the thing that really bugs me to talk about. Not so much for myself. I'm true to myself, if you can't be true to yourself, you know what I mean? You can't be true to anybody else. And even if you're not true to anybody else, at least be true to yourself. So I'm true to myself. It's just like, again, I don't like to put myself out there as though I'm any better than anybody else. I know, I don't feel. I know that I've been divinely guided. All my serious questions that I wanted, I've been led to the answers. And I opened up a direct channel with what I call the astral library, the God force, the creative force, the intelligent cosmos, so to speak, divine, whatever you want to put it. It's beyond what words can express. So it's beyond the human ego. It's beyond the human labels. You feel it. We didn't have internet, so we ordered all of our books and what have you stuff out of magazines. And so Llewellyn's and Barnes and Noble and a few other different magazines and what have you stuff, we'd order our books out of there. And I'd be going through my catalog, you know, from Llewellyn's or Barnes and Noble's was more like almost like a newspaper type of catalog. And sometimes I'd go through there and there just wasn't anything that really, you know. But with Llewellyn's, there were a lot of books, a lot of materials and stuff that just basically jumped out at me and gave me a feeling I need to get this book and read it. And so I, you know, I had to mark them off, which ones I wanted, and I'd eventually get them. And within each book, answers were there in regards to questions that I've had. Philosophies, theories about certain things. I'd be led to the answers. And I gave a good example why having stuff in regards to water being in oil reservoirs. And like I mentioned, I've never worked on an oil rig. I don't know nothing about that. I always saw oil reservoirs were just oil reservoirs, just nothing but oil. And I knew about water reservoirs. I knew that there was underground water, but I didn't know that they were intermixed. I didn't know that all oil reservoirs under the ground, that is native and untouched, have water. This cosmic library told me that. And, you know, sometimes I'm just blown away by the information I get. And usually I'm led to books that validate that information, that validate those answers to my questions or the information given to me. So I got on, you know, the internet, Google, and I fact checked that, and sure enough, yeah. And I was like, holy crap, man. And it's such a spiritual, divine experience when you're communicating like that. And I know that And I don't like talking negative about anybody and stuff, but I know a lot of the self-proclaimed esoteric magicians out there and stuff are just book smart. They're theatrical. They've memorized tarot